Well, this was not going to be my first video back to YouTube. If you guys have seen my community tab posts, I kind of went over what has been going on in my personal life, and I have since filmed a video that is gonna go up. And when you see that, I'm gonna be talking in that video as if it's my first video back. But this is a bit of an emergency video. My phone is glowing behind me because I forgot to grab it. This is a bit of an emergency video because today Ruby Franke was in court, seen for the first time since her little webcam Zoom meeting or court appearance that she had, where we saw her briefly on webcam, where it was all like the whole situation was messed up. So there wasn't really a lot of footage of that, if really any. But since then, we have not seen her, but she was back in court. We saw her for the first time, and during this court appearance, she pled guilty to 4 out of the 6 charges that are against her. And I want to talk about those because I found this to be very interesting, especially the ones that were dropped, because they had to do with starvation and all of that, which we can clearly see she did. We've seen it in the videos, and I am not a part of the legal side of things. When I do videos like this, a lot of times I'll get comments from people who know the legal side of things, and they're talking to me as if I should know. But I'm inclined to believe or assume that maybe those charges were dropped as a way to get her to plead guilty to some of them. Maybe they came to some sort of agreement. The ones that were dropped are the ones that like we've all been able to see, and then the ones that she pled guilty to are most of the things that we did not see happen. I'm gonna show you guys some video footage of her court appearance in case you haven't seen it. You probably have by now, but maybe some of you haven't. So I'm gonna play this for you, and then we're gonna talk about it. Franke stood shackled in gray and white jail clothing as she closed her eyes and took a deep breath before pleading guilty to each of her first 3 charges. On the 4th, she fought back some emotion before saying, "With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and children, guilty." Judge John J. Walton scheduled sentencing for February 20th after accepting the plea agreement, which described new details of the children endured, including the claims that they were possessed. Under the plea agreement, Franke agreed to serve a prison term, and the sentences will run consecutively. Sentencing would be up to the judge. With each one that she pled guilty to, it could be 1 to 15 years in prison. I'm obviously hoping that would be the max on each of them, which would give her 60 years, and the minimum would be 1 year. So if she got the minimum on all of them, it would be 4 years. Like I said, I'm not a part of the legal side of things, but I'm inclined to believe that she will get much more than a year for each of those. It says that under the Utah law, second-degree aggravated can be charged if that person knowingly or intentionally inflicts serious physical injury to a child or causes or permits another to inflict serious physical injury to a child. In the plea agreement, Ruby admits that she her son from May 22nd through August 30th by forcing him into hours of physical tasks, summer work outdoors without adequate water, and repeated and serious sunburns that blistered. He was denied food or given very plain meals, and he was isolated from other people without access to books, notebooks, or electronics. At times, the ropes were used to tie together handcuffs that secured his hands and feet as he lay on his stomach, lifting his arms and legs off the ground, and injured his wrists and ankles, the plea agreement said. She also admitted to kicking her son while wearing boots, holding his head underwater, and smothering his mouth and nose with her hands, according to the plea agreement. He was also told that everything that was being done to him were acts of love. She acknowledges similarly her 9-year-old daughter by forcing her to work outside, run on dirt roads barefoot, and go without food and water. She was also repeatedly told that she was evil and possessed. The punishments were necessary for her to be obedient and repent, and these things were being done to her in order to help her. The girl was convinced what her mother said was true. Windward Law said in a statement Friday that the occurred while Franke was influenced by a relationship counselor who led her to a distorted sense of morality. Ruby is a devoted mother and also a woman committed to constant improvement. Windward Law said in a statement, initially believed that her co-defendant Jodi Hildebrandt had the insight to offer a path to continual improvement, and that she took advantage of the quest and twisted it into something heinous. So with that, we know that they're trying to blame Jodi for all of it. Obviously, brainwashing is very real. It happens in cults and stuff far too often, where masses of people even can be convinced to do the most terrible thing. A person is capable of manipulating another person into doing horrible things. However, that would be saying that everything that we have seen for years on YouTube didn't mean anything. And it absolutely did. We have seen the abuse filmed on camera. And although I do believe that Jodi made everything 1,000 times worse, I do not believe that she is a reason why Ruby is the way that she is and why Ruby did what she did. I think that they were two very like-minded people that became friends, and maybe things got amplified and darker and deeper because they were doing it together and they had support in the devious things that they were doing and in the abuse. And it wasn't just one of them doing it. Now, Jodi's hearing, I believe, is on the 27th of this month, so a couple days after Christmas. I will definitely be talking about that as well. Now, the details behind what she pled guilty to are horrific. Like holding his head underwater. The things that these children endured and went through with this woman breaks my heart, because every single child deserves to be loved and to be taken care of and to feel like safe with their parents. And these children were in a house where they believed that they deserved that type of abuse from their own mom. There's absolutely nothing that she could get up there to say that would make any of this better. There's nothing she could get up there to say to make anybody feel sorry for her or to feel like she's not deserving of the worst of the worst. She can get up there and be like, with my deepest regret and sorrow. Nobody cares. I hope you're miserable until the day that you die. I hope every day you wake up miserable. I could care less about this woman for what she did to her children. Horrible, disgusting, vile creature who deserves the worst. And I hope she gets the max sentences for every single thing that she's charged with. All I'll say is at least she got up there and pled guilty. At least she did that. Because nothing pisses me off more than somebody who is obviously guilty for something and they get up there and try to act like they're not. So at least she pled guilty. There has been, some stuff that came out in the news about how her husband has filed for divorce and all that. And I'm like, isn't that really funny? Isn't that funny? He files for divorce after she's in prison. You know what I mean? After she's incarcerated. He had a year where he could have done that and where he could have saved his kids, and he didn't. And I don't want any of us to forget that he bears responsibility as well in what his children went through, because he abandoned them for her. That's basically what he said, is that she said that we needed space and I needed to take a break from my kids in order for our marriage to work. Any father who's going to say, okay, I won't see my children, so maybe you'll love me again, or maybe you'll want to be with me again, and he just leaves, if that even is the truth, disgusting person. You can't convince me that he doesn't have some part in this either. He knew who he was married to. So his divorce papers coming up after, nasty people. You guys are gonna have to get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And as always, if you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any of my updates. I'll definitely be talking about what goes down with Jodi, and I have some other videos on the way. I hope you all are having a wonderful December. Happy holidays, and I will be seeing you soon for another video.